the party was over, we got home. I said, all right, Mariah, let's call your dad so you can go hang out with him, you know. Called. Let me let you listen to it. Now listen to this.
Yes, sir. So you're not gonna get a knee today?
No, I'm gonna get her.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're not getting her today?
I'm gonna get her on Monday.
Now, you hear me laugh? Because it's funny to me. You stood out here in this party for 20, 30 minutes talking about, I should be able to have her on her birthday.
He acts like, no, it's Mel, like, no.
It's the reason I move like I move. Markel's very manipulative. I wish I had have had my children by a man, not a queen, but a man.
Ooh.
Something is shaking the entire reality TV world right now. And if you've been anywhere near social media in the last 48 hours, you already know the storm has a single name behind it: Melody Shari. Out of nowhere, out of pure frustration and years of holding in what she calls the truth nobody wanted to hear, she allegedly dropped the tapes. Not just any tapes, private recordings that expose the one person many viewers thought was untouchable. And according to insiders, these tapes don't just reveal behind-the-scenes drama, they expose affairs, manipulation, and a pattern of behavior that could cost Carlos King far more than a reputation. Fans are stunned.
It just reminded me that you can't focus on the noise of the outside world. And unfortunately, a lot of people do. A lot of people focus on the noise, and a lot of people enter the dark space of the noise to benefit them. And when you are a person who lives your life,
The network is reportedly scrambling. Cast members are whispering behind closed doors. What nobody expected was that Melody, the woman so many people tried to paint as emotional, reactive, even dramatic, would be the one holding the biggest receipts the show has ever seen. But here's the twist: these recordings aren't new. They didn't magically appear last night. Melody allegedly held onto them for years, waiting for the moment she felt pushed far enough to finally open the vault. Now everyone is asking the same question. What exactly was Carlos hiding? And why did Melody feel she needed proof this explosive? To understand how we got here and why this moment feels like an explosion decades in the making, we have to go back. Because once upon a time, there was no feud, no betrayal, no shady business.
there's going to be people who's going to poke you to get a reaction out of you. They're going to make up lies. They're going to just say things to get people to join them in their hatred for you. And you just have to pray for them. And as you pray for them, pray for God to fulfill them with something that they're missing. Because you have to be missing something. You have to have a hole in your heart to spend your time going against people who did nothing to you.
Just trust in a partnership that looked unbreakable. At the beginning, when love and marriage, Huntsville was just a concept, Carlos King saw a spark in Melody that few recognized. She was sharp, confident, hardworking, and had a natural emotional honesty that reality television thrives on. Carlos didn't just want her to be on the show, he needed her. Her story was the beating heart of the entire project. And Melody gave everything. Her marriage struggles, her dreams, her family, her heartbreak, her growth, she shared all of it openly. Viewers connected with her instantly. They saw themselves in her journey, her pain, and her determination to rise above betrayal. She became the soul of the show, and Carlos knew it. As long as Melody was on screen, the audience stayed hooked. In the early days, Melody trusted Carlos more than people realize.
I'm gonna keep it all the way real on this podcast today because I am pissed. Robin admitting that she hid her story from the world on the show that pays you is a slap in the face to everyone involved, including the audience. And the fact that you have the audacity to go on your podcast to reveal this. We spent this entire half-assed season with these made-up storylines about Chris Bassett. And yes, I'm gonna say made up. because I allegedly was told that a few of the housewives had a meeting before filming about what the storyline was going to be, and that this Chris Bassett stuff was part of that conversation. I've always said there was something off about this season, and now I know what it is. None of y'all are living your real lives.
He was the one telling her, "Don't worry, the viewers will understand. Your story matters." She believed he cared about her image, her truth, and her emotional well-being. And maybe at first, he did. But the reality TV world changes people. The more successful LAMH became, the more powerful Carlos grew and the more pressure he faced to keep ratings climbing. Storylines became heavier.
Out him as long as he continued to change nothing about himself. So Aikisha from Bell Collective and her husband stood on business last night. I heard that it has since been deleted, but Aikisha's like, look, and I am tickled that she pumped him up with all the good accolades, and then she turned around and was like, but unfortunately I'm out. Baby, the face is priceless. He like, his head can't even come back the other way. He's just staring at the screen. And I'm gonna let you guys hear it for yourself, but baby, it's about time. And this should be an example for those who are afraid to walk away because, oh, you're on TV, or who are afraid to walk away because you feel like you failed if you choose yourself. Listen, you have to choose yourself, because if you don't, nobody else would. But listen, y'all meet me in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. Check in. Bye.
Pick up letter.
I know that's right.
We were excited about that, and we want to congratulate Carlos, and we want to congratulate the show, and thank you for allowing us to be a part of the platform. But unfortunately, we will not be returned. So just wanted to say that. The colognes are done. I want Carlos to find out any other way.
Conflicts became louder. Scenes grew more dramatic. And somewhere in the middle of all that chaos, Melody began to feel something shifting. At first, it was subtle. Edits that didn't match what happened in real time. Conflicts that escalated suspiciously fast. Storylines that seemed pushed, not natural. She didn't want to believe the man she once saw as a mentor was reshaping her life for the sake of entertainment. But the signs kept growing. People close to her told her to pay attention. To watch how certain cast members suddenly had softer episodes, repaired reputations, or unexpected opportunities. She couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. And then came the part of the story nobody expected. As Melody's marriage with Martell unraveled publicly, she noticed a disturbing pattern. Instead of offering support, the show highlighted her pain again and again, to the point where it felt less like documenting her journey and more like feeding the audience her heartbreak on a silver platter. Behind the scenes, she reportedly sensed that conversations with Carlos were not matching what showed up in the edited episodes. She began to suspect that personal details she shared in confidence were turning into storylines, even the ones she begged to keep private. That was the breaking point. When someone feels cornered, when they feel misunderstood, and when the people controlling the narrative stop protecting them, they start protecting themselves. And that's when Melody made a choice that would change everything. She began recording every conversation that felt off. Every time she sensed something hidden. Every moment she feared her words might later be twisted. Not because she wanted revenge. Not because she planned a scandal. But because she felt she had no other way to survive in a system built on manipulation. She never planned to use them, not unless she absolutely had to. But nobody expected what happened next. Rumors began surfacing about Carlos, and certain cast members' whispers about inappropriate relationships, blurred lines, and personal affairs that could damage the show if exposed. Some insiders claimed these alleged situations affected how certain people were treated, edited, or protected on screen. Melody didn't say a word. But she listened. And she saved every message, every call, every voice memo that might one day prove she was never the villain in the story Carlos crafted around her. And here's where everything becomes explosive. Because according to multiple insiders, the tapes Melody leaked don't just expose manipulation for ratings. They allegedly reveal deeply personal affairs involving Carlos, including relationships that may have created conflicts of interest, influenced casting decisions, and shaped storylines in ways the cast never agreed to. These tapes allegedly contain private conversations where Carlos discusses cast members in ways that suggest favoritism based on personal relationships. Hints about secret affairs that could explain why certain people were protected, promoted, or defended throughout the series. Moments where Carlos allegedly shares personal details that contradict the polished image he presents to the public. Discussions about orchestrated drama, including scenarios allegedly designed specifically to humiliate or expose certain cast members. Emotional recordings where Melody questions her portrayal, her safety, and her trust in Carlos's responses don't match the compassion viewers expect from a producer. And here's the part that is sending shockwaves across social media. Some of these tapes reportedly include references to more than one affair. Not rumors. Not hearsay. Carlos's own words recorded without him knowing. But here's the twist: Melody didn't leak the tapes because she wanted revenge. According to sources close to her, she finally reached the point where protecting herself mattered more than protecting someone who never protected her. And as soon as those tapes surfaced, even in small pieces, everything changed. Fans began to question why certain cast members always seemed shielded from consequences. Why certain storylines felt forced. Why certain rumors magically disappeared during filming. Why some conflicts exploded on screen while others quietly vanished. Suddenly, the puzzle pieces made sense in ways viewers never imagined. On social media, comments flooded timelines. Now it all adds up. No wonder he always defended that cast member. This whole show is a setup. Melody was telling the truth the whole time. And with every repost, every thread, every theory, the situation grew bigger. Networks hate scandals involving producers. They hate anything that makes viewers question what's real. And they especially hate affairs that could undermine the credibility of their entire brand. So now, insiders say the network is panicking. Some executives allegedly want to distance themselves from Carlos immediately. Others are trying to figure out how many tapes Melody actually has. Because if this is only a small portion, the rest could be catastrophic. And here's the part that should scare anyone behind the scenes. Melody never keeps only part of a receipt. She keeps the entire trail. If she released a portion, that means the rest is locked somewhere safe waiting. And people are terrified. For Carlos, the emotional impact is enormous. Whether the allegations are true or not, the damage is already spreading. Public opinion is shifting faster than anyone expected. Cast members who once stood by him are quiet now. And silence in moments like this is loud. His personal life, his professional relationships, his image as the king of reality TV, all of it is under a spotlight he never wanted. And it's not just about the show. If those alleged affairs involved cast members, if those relationships influenced storylines, if certain people were treated differently because of personal attachments, then this goes beyond messy drama. This becomes a conversation about ethics, power, and abuse of influence. Meanwhile, Melody is watching everything unfold with a kind of calm the internet doesn't understand. She spent years fighting to be believed. Years trying to protect her image as a mother, a businesswoman, a woman rebuilding her life after betrayal. Now the world is finally seeing what she has been dealing with behind the scenes. The emotional toll on her has been deep. Being portrayed as dramatic or difficult when she was simply trying to protect her boundaries crushed her spirit at times. But she kept going, not for the show, not for Carlos, but for her children and her own healing. And now, instead of breaking, she is rising. People are calling her strategic, smart, brave, calculated in the best way. Because releasing these tapes wasn't about harm. It was about truth. And that brings us to the most important question of all. What happens next? Will Carlos step forward and deny everything? Will he attack Melody? Will he claim the tapes were edited or misunderstood? Will he blame stress, pressure, or outside forces? Or will he stay silent and hope the storm passes? Silence, in moments like this, usually means one thing. There is more to lose than anyone knows. And as for Melody, she has nothing left to fear. She already walked through the fire publicly, painfully, and with the entire internet watching. She survived betrayal. She She survived manipulation. She survived being misunderstood on a global scale. Now she is standing in her truth. And honestly, this feels like just the beginning. Because if these tapes truly reveal everything insiders are whispering about the affairs, the favoritism, the manipulation, the blurred boundaries, then the fallout could reshape not just Love and Marriage, Huntsville, but the entire reality TV world. Other cast members from other shows might come forward. Other producers might be investigated. Other networks might rethink how much control they give people behind the scenes. And Carlos's empire could crumble overnight. Reality TV was already under fire for ethics. This could be the spark that burns the entire old system down. One thing is clear. Melody didn't release the tapes to destroy anyone. She released them to free herself. To end a cycle of being blamed for things she didn't create. To prove she wasn't the villain people were told she was. To show that even when the world turns on you, truth survives. And no matter what Carlos says next, if he says anything at all, nothing can erase the fact that Melody finally took back her power. The vault is open. The truth is out. The game has changed forever. Now it's your turn to weigh in. Do you believe Melody was justified in releasing the tapes? And what do you think the network will do next? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.